Hello and welcome to today's session of programming, and today we want to use Java again, of course, but we want to throw out Google ADK and replace it with LangChain4J, which we were using anyways, and actually use these agents and that agentic workflow. So yeah, that's what we are here to do today. I hope we can be a bit more productive than last time. And we laid the groundwork last session for these agents. And I think we are on a good route today, hopefully. First of all, thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do, if you like that content, please like and subscribe. That helps a lot because as you can see, I think I reached 50 subscribers now, which is amazing. I really enjoy it, and I hope that you enjoy it too. If you do, please do that stuff. It helps. I am so grateful to be able to do that today, because it's just always a hassle to find the time and the motivation to do that. But today was another day where I did that, so I am really grateful. And please feel free to comment, to live chat. That's the most exciting part of all of this, I think. And I activated my Twitch again, so maybe this works today. Let's go coding. All right, there was, I think, only one commit last time, and we did implement Google ADK with a couple of agents, and thankfully there is an integration of Google ADK into LangChain4J. So the integration for LangChain4J is in Google ADK, which helps a lot because otherwise I would not have been able to do that. That basically enabled us to do this, to put a LangChain4J model into this LLM agent of Google ADK. Whew, that's a lot of specific wording, but that, as we all know, is very important. Yeah, what was that? That there's a quote where that the two most difficult things in programming are naming things and something else. I don't remember, but naming things is at the top of the list. And that's quite funny. But what I would like to use of this commit anyway is this change we have. I changed the prompts a bit because we have to split them up into different prompts. And that's why I will still use this commit, even though it doesn't make that much sense. So can we just revert that? No, we can't revert single files of one commit, but that's fine. We do that by hand. Let's kill all that Google ADK stuff. Oh, and by the way, it didn't really work anyway. So after we switch back to LangChain4J agents, there will be a lot of work ahead of us just for the prompting and the agents itself, because these did not work properly. Cool. Let's get going. We removed the Google ADK things. Now, if we save that and refresh, there will be a lot of compile errors, especially in the AI service, I think, because there are a couple of imports that should not work anymore. Right. Don't leave me hanging. Yes. All right. So we did create the relevant agents and then we did something. Okay, so this worked pretty fine. Like this should have worked pretty fine. It did not. But I like the idea of just building these agents. And going back to LangChain4J, let's go to the top here. So we are using the Agentic system and we are using, I think, this workflow then. And we actually, what I skipped over last time, unfortunately, was these patterns and how they work. But basically, again, you annotate, you create an interface, annotate a couple of methods, and then you have your agent. So we'll do this. Okay, let's just start with that. Let's copy and paste that into this. We create a new package just to keep them apart. And we make a new story agent. What was that? Medical expert. Yeah, that's fine. That is totally fine. But of course, this is an interface and we want to have this inside the correct interface. And then we import the necessary things. Yes, okay, we don't have the add agent. There's something again about this. Agents, yes. Fine with normal AI, just adding the add agent annotation. And when was that introduced? The LangChain Agentic module. All right. So this should be just another dependency that we add. Maybe it's Agentic. Probably not. But let's see. Agentic. Well, could be. Was not found. All right. Just relax. We'll find it. Yes. Okay. Yes. So, this is all in beta. Oh, great. German. Ads. Wonderful. Let's take this one. And, all right. Is this... Yeah. Okay. This is 141 beta and... Okay, wait a second. So this is the core and we don't have any beta version here, which is unfortunate. Why? I might ask. So this is September 11th. This is pretty recent and this is not. Do we have 140 beta? I think that's better, and then we update to 140. Why did we not? Well, no, okay, it's pretty recent, so I guess I started using LangChain4J around that date. Perfect. That is perfect. Is this in Maven Central? Yes, it is. Yes, there is a newer version, but we can't use it, and that's perfectly fine. We need a different version here. Bring that in, and we go here and say, this is that one. Okay, so the agentic stuff is still in beta, which shouldn't be a problem. if it works. What is this now? Yeah, that's bullshit. All right. Yes, now we have the necessary thing. And this is the user message. I actually like that you put the prompt in here, thinking about it. Because then we don't have to use that game interface. The story agent. So this is the initial story prompt, and I will be excited to see how that works with memory again, but that was a problem, well, a thought that I had with Google ADK as well. So let's put this in here. This is not the request, but the hero name. And this is all well and fine. Begin the story. So actually, that's all there is in the first request. Hero name. This is something we have to import as well. What is this anyways? When a parameter of a method in an AI service is annotated, it becomes a prompt template variable. Yeah. All right, fine. Start the story. A medical expert, storytelling teller. Storyteller? Doesn't look that great. That's all right. We'll take it. Okay, this is the first one. Let's see how we can use it first before we initialize all the agents. Now, this is the story agent, and what does LangChain4J say about that? We'll use this, yes. Medical expert, great. It's the DM Areachrome. We just have to live with it. All right. Areachrome said it's the DM, the dungeon master, hopefully, I think. And this is completely right. We could do that. The dungeon master, on the other hand, is a bit more powerful because that's the whole thing is the dungeon master, but we'll create a couple of agents that do stuff. The tool agent and choices agent, that's part of the dungeon master as well, right? To give some options or stuff like that. So I think for now the storyteller is fine. Yeah. Maybe we'll change it later. Okay, implementing a conditional workflow that invokes the appropriate agent based on the category of the user request. This is actually not what I want. I don't want an agent that routes the request to the right agent. I want to have a sequential workflow. I think that's the first thing. So it goes to the storyteller agent. Then out of that, we can do a parallel workflow where we, one, create the tool calling, and second, create the choices. That's what I would like to do. And that should be very basic. So the way these are built is this way, and we actually just copy that for now. and see where that leaves us. Invoke the novel creator untyped agent. So yeah, okay, that's the actual sequencing agent, right? We get through the creative writer to the audience editor and the style editor. And that is fine, but that's not what we want. We want to have the story agent. Great. And this is actually of this class. Let's... What are you saying? Yes. Story, maybe that was the issue. Typing would be a good value here. Yeah, we have our model now, which has no memory, right? Because that's, if we look into our other model, that's implemented through the AI services here. Okay, but for now, this is all well and good. Let's leave this gone. And we have our story then. So after doing all of this, we create a story. All right. This is the story agent, yeah. An assistant. We don't need the description anymore. Output name is the story. That's fine. That's perfect, actually. Why does that fit so well? And we don't need the instruction anymore. So we have our story agent created. This is something I do. Okay. Yeah, that should be this one, right? The hero name in this case. So in their creative writer, if we go there, no, let's take the audience editor. There should be something like that. Topic, style, and audience. Story and audience. Okay, so it takes what it wants. It doesn't need to take all of the parameters, but it takes what's in there. Interesting. Yeah. So the hero name is actually somewhere. Let's... shall we do... No. I don't think this is the right place for this to create the actual story. We just want to have the agents ready. That was the idea of this. And I think we'll throw it away anyways, but that was the idea behind it. Yeah. But that's the idea. So if we implement all the other agents, then this should be a sequence which we don't want. But since this is also just an agent, we can put that sequential. No, we can put a parallel workflow in front of that, or inside the sequential agent. That should be perfectly valid. Evening planner. What is it with this one? Do we have the evening planner somewhere here? Yeah, I would like to have that class. It's not defined here. Why would it be? It's just an example. Yes. Here we are. All right. In this agent, parallel agents are defined as well. And a whoa. This is more complicated than I thought. Anyways, it shouldn't be that hard. Cool. So what I actually wanted is one agent that gives me choices and one that gives me the tool calling. But I'm not sure if that's the right idea. I think this is not an agentic thing. We bring that to the first LLM, to the first agent. We bring it the story. It gives we tell it, hey, tell us the story. It brings back the story, and then we throw that story into two different agents. They don't have to communicate with each other, right? But they could. And that was the idea of the agents anyway. So they could communicate and like sort of discuss what the outcome should be in a perfect world. And then bring that result back. But we actually don't want one single result. We want 3 different results, right? Or am I missing something? I think we do. But that would kind of defeat all this purpose with the agents. So for the sake of using agents, that it makes any sense, let's put the choices agent in there as well. Let's do this. So we take the choices agent, and of course we don't have that yet. Agent. Yeah. I think that does make sense somehow. Start the story. No, we actually want to just to give me choices. And it takes the story. Yeah. The current story. Let's call it that one. Because that's the snippet it gets. A servant of the storyteller that creates, that adds useful, fun, cool choices to the story. Of the story? Yes. To a given story. Ariachrome writes, well, tools would mostly need the memory, except you have a change in the current story part, except if you have a change in the current story part. Choices need to combine tools and story then. No, the tools are something very separate. The tools are the things, the actual method calls from the LLM to Java methods that change life, change the inventory, and change mana. That's the 3 things. So from the story, the tool calls can be created, because in the story it should say, well, Hans got damage and his life was reduced to 1. Yeah. Back to this one, and we actually, we already created this one. Yeah, I think, it's all right. Because I'm still thinking about if we need that commit or not, but what the hell? Nobody wants to have Google ADK in LangChain4J if LangChain4J already implements the agentic stuff. But it's in beta, so maybe that's something somebody wants to do anyways. Anyway. Okay. Man. Give me one last chance to actually bring that damn tool to run. Because I'm so glad that Restructuring is here. And now this funny tool does not work. That's very irritating. I must say this tool is not as good as I hoped it would be, but maybe the URL is just off. Could be a very good chance for that. Well, we'll find out. Let's get going. Let's keep on coding. Now, this was something else. No, not this. Here we go, and this is the current story for tool calling. So we'll give it a story where it should create choices from. Restructuring asks, that's standard behavior for tool, not working when someone is watching. The problem with this tool is it would only work if somebody's watching and chatting, so I can't test it on my own. What makes it really annoying right now. We'll get through it. Output. Output name is still story, and here we have current story because maybe, just maybe, the output name will automatically be inserted in this agent. That could be something that's done here. And here we go with a hero name. It will result in an error, but that's fine for us for now. But eventually we have that untyped agent, the novel creator, which is totally wrong. This, hey, let's call this the dungeon master agent. Yeah, dungeon master, I like it. That's pretty cool. And we give the dungeon master the input. Right. And then we get a story back with choices. What we also lose, no, what we do lose is that streaming availability. That's actually really annoying because I like the streaming stuff, that it's writing the story as you read it. But that's what we have to live with again. What? Yes. Now, this invocation is not something we want. We actually just want that untyped agent. And here we say, create the dungeon master. And with that, we have that untyped agent, call it the dungeon master. And here we have a bunch of useless stuff. Now we don't need this anymore. What a joy. And this is the text prompt. I don't think we don't need that. But this was a trying to test it out anyways. So this is fine. What I just remembered, I have to start my Docker. I did not do that yet. Let me do that for a second to already boot that up, and we don't have to wait for it. It takes a long time to only start Docker already. But this is the AI adventure. That's perfect. We'll start that. And we're back here. Wonderful. Let's move on. Our dungeon master. Now we need to call the dungeon master, and that's done here. We'll return this one. We'll get this. Wait a second. Yeah. Let's call it the full story. No. What's this then? It's also the full story. All right. Timeout 10 minutes. Okay. Here we go. When is this called? Never. Huh. Let's call the dungeon master. No, actually just 1 second. Okay. Hero name. No, that's a really bad idea. No, let's put Hans in there for a second, just again to see how this works. Complete response. If the response is complete, which is actually all the time now. The finished story. Yeah. Okay. So for now, we want the story. Story. Great. But I think we need this anyways. The whole thing. And we want to handle that full stuff as well, because now we have the full story. Wonderful, beautiful. And again, we comment that out. Okay. So if we are lucky, then this is created. It will create our AI services, and it will call the sequenced agent and return. I think what it will return is only the choices right now. But anyways, let's just see. I'm really excited to see what's going on now. So let's start it up and see what happens. Yeah, this is the database. That's not interesting now. We get a yeah, okay. We get a request, but that's not useful. We get a couple of LNM agents, and we don't use those anymore. That was the idea beforehand, but it is not anymore. But we have a couple of more other errors. No, we don't. Let's go. It's doing quite a lot. And now it goes to the wrong monitor, as usual. Please select a stored game. Yeah. We don't want this new game. Yeah. So something is happening. This is the story, which is actually tools that are called. And this still works well. Again, game character stats. What is this supposed to be? But anyways, it kind of works. Because that's not with the agentic workflow. But let's see what happens if we put something in there. Because I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. What is this now? Set health lower. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing. I love the ASCII art. Great. But this is not at all what we want. Now we do create these. I should have started in debug mode and then actually see what this is and then see what story comes out of this, because that's the real interesting thing here. Maybe it's not even called because I did something wrong again. Right. Okay, it's getting called. It's doing things. And the story is set health. Okay. But this is somehow progress. We get, so it does communicate. That's great. And it creates something. But the tool calling, it creates the tool calling, and that is very strange to me. Is there anything about the tools? No. Mention that our hero has full health and also mention the equipment. Yeah, but that's not the idea. If you Reacroms writes, if you can name different outputs, can you somehow define separate inputs to your agents? Yes, we can. We do this with these parameters, and if we call, give me 1 second to gather my thoughts. That's exactly what we do here, the input. So we create a map of inputs and the correspondent agent can take whatever it wants out of this map. At least that's the idea. But how does it get these methods? That's so strange to me. That's really... There's no contact with it. Like at all. At all. So we have the story agent. There's nothing said about the tools, about methods. Where did we... Yeah, here. No, not even here. The hero UI communicator. That's something. Okay, get tool executors. So at this point, we say what we have and stuff like that. Give me 1 second. Set health and set mana. So that's really methods that do exist. That would be very strange that it does that. Chrome, more thinking about difference between current story and full story. Yes, I see what you say. So this the current. Okay, can we somehow get into this whole thing and see what the second agent is saying? So we only, if we invoke this, we get only one response, one string as a response. It, to me, is very strange. It gets an object. Let's go there really quickly. Yes, this. One second. So this is the untyped agent, but actually we are using a sequential agent service. And this gets the output name. Okay. What we can do, just to see where this is going wrong, we can just put away these two agents and return that one. If we build this is the story agent and not an untyped agent. Yeah. Okay. Another idea is just remove the choices agent. See where this goes. But it must be somewhere the hero communicator is called with these tools. I don't know where. Here. That's not connected at all. I don't understand this. Let's go. This is called What a Great Joy. A lot is done. And then we are here and we get our story, which is null. Yes, missing argument exception. Excuse me. Untyped agent. Output name full story. That's cool. You know, give me 1 second. The choices. When a tool is needed, output. Oh, Johannes. Yep, that's not the choices agent. That's the tool agent. Story for the tool calling. Great work. Chrome. Why did you not pay attention? Oh man. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that of course explains it. It does what it should do, just not this one. Yeah. That was stupid. That was really stupid. But it happens. And it happens to the best of us, you know. Really funny. Okay. Stupid. Really funny. Do we have a prompt for that? Default choices prompt. Yes, we do have this. And this is good. Yeah. Choices. Yes. You are an assistant that only gives the player 4 choices. Let's put that in letter. Yeah. The adventure should be completed. Yes, current story. Chrome says he has no idea, but that's not true. You're very invested in that, I can tell. Story. Yeah, and then the current story, and this works very well. Oh man, oh man. And this is just really wrong. A servant, no, interface between storyteller and Java methods. You are here to call the correct Java methods if necessary. And yes, call the tool. This is the current story. Great. Okay, cool. Cool. This sounds perfectly plausible, so I'm really looking forward to that result. Yes, give me that. Hans is still our greatest warrior. Okay. Your grip. Okay. So it really adds 4 choices. And again, it would make me very curious to see what the first agent did. But still, this is amazing. This is really cool. Now we just have to integrate that and add some persistence. But that's amazing. That's so cool. And with the persistence, about the persistence, we have our assistant with memory, and there we have the memory ID. We could just put that in there, and I'm pretty positive that this won't work, but it doesn't matter. So this is the story agent. Ah, that's cool. Let's get to it. We have the agent. We can create the dungeon master. Yay, cast fireball. Was that an option? I didn't even read it. I was so yeah. Cast fireball. Drink a health potion. Amazing. That's really great. And then we can do all kinds of cool stuff. I like this. But this is only the first part, so I have to pace myself because I'm so in such a good mood right now. This is amazing. This is truly amazing. Chrome. Oh, okay. It was in your examples. I thought it came up with that by itself. Yeah, I thought so too. It wasn't? Come on. No. It wasn't. It wasn't in my example. Yeah, it was. Attack the fiend, the goblin. Okay, search the chat. Yeah, I mean, it did some thinking on its own. So the fiend. I like the description. No, from the fiend's claw. Why doesn't it explain it? Anyways, we can make an agent for that later on. For now, we use this. But why is this? Why is this here? and not there. It filtered correctly. Yeah, it did. Each turn describe the current location, atmosphere, any characters. Example. Let the story unfold with real consequences. Oh, here we go. And then yeah. Still, hey, it still works. It still works. This is not needed anymore, right? Because this is not asynchronous anymore. I really don't like this, but this is the way it is done with agents. And that's perfectly fine for now. Let's remove all that garbage. Now, this entity will, we will need this at some point. I don't know where yet, but we will need this. Yeah, the text prompt is also disregarded. So this is the dungeon master with the first line of the story, and maybe can we do a story agent? No, we cannot create two agent calls in one interface, because that's then it doesn't know what it should be doing. So I guess we need to I'm not sure if we need two story agents, so one for the initial story and then one for the further story. But I don't think it's a bad way to do this. Yet again, this should be the initial thing. Then the choices are done, and we must put some memory into these things anyways, because otherwise we can't make a story. Can't. So let's see. Is there anything about this? Come on. First part. Wonderful. We can use the memory ID and then use a chat memory provider. Well, this is exactly how I had hoped it would work. Now, I'm beginning to like this. I'm beginning to like this system. Yes, the memory ID. So this is the assistant with memory long. It's a long. Let's do this. Amazing. This is amazing. And then we have a user message. Just the request user message. Yeah, okay. We don't need this. On tool executed, that's something we need to use as well later on. I think we could spend a long time today only with this. Let's go back. Yeah, here we have this, and we want to have what chat memory provider, and we already did this here somewhere. Streaming chat model without chat memory provider. Here we go. We create a model, then we create a provider, which is amazing. I like this so much. Riochrome, I hope you are as excited as I am. I can't stop explaining how great this is. This just works if it works. But does it work? Yes, that is the question. We get all of this. Yes, what we do now need is we have to break this memory ID. How do we get this into the agent? Yes, what? Context, what is this now? Oh God. The sequence of the two invocations to this agent. I broke my leg, what should I do? Should I sue my neighbor who caused this damage? Won't give the expected result because the second question will be routed to the legal expert, which is now invoked for the first time and has no memory. Yes, I see. Okay. This is funny because last couple of days, I played around with Visual Studio Code and the GitHub Copilot, and what that lets you do is use different models. And every time you switch the model, it does this summarization of context, which takes a couple of seconds, but I thought this is quite cool that it summarizes the context and gets that to the next LLM and then lets it handle the next stuff. And this is basically what it does as well, which is pretty cool. Oh, Riochrome, you missed the last stream. That is not a problem. We are basically starting from scratch here with the agents again. It didn't change a lot. It was mostly useless stuff. It was really quite a waste for me, just because I focused on this Google ADK and implementing that into my project, and that was pretty stupid in hindsight. Let's move on, and I really would like to see how we put the memory ID in there. But I think I skipped that part already. Memory ID, yes, the memory ID, yes. And this is something. And okay, so it calls the agent directly, but that's not what we want to do, is it? That's not what we want to do at all. But how this probably works is that this one, we implemented the memory ID. And since this V works like this, we could use the memory ID as well and just put this into our map. I really don't know if this is the right thing, but we can try. Right? So now we have the memory ID and put it in that map, and maybe it does remember or it doesn't, I don't know. What we can put in there as well is the text prompt. And where does it get that text from? Didn't the example use context to call the summarizer? Yes. So we don't want the do we want the context? In particular, the agentic scope keeps track of the sequence of invocations of all agents and can produce a context concatenating those invocations in a single conversation. But that doesn't have to do anything with the context summarizer, because we don't want to summarize anything. We just want to give the story agent the memory ID. I don't think we need to use this. Let's see how that goes, and maybe we'll need the context. I'm really not sure. Yeah, what we want here is now this one. We just put in the hero name. But that doesn't work for this one. Where do we get that? What's the value here? Oh yes, that's just... the value here is just 1 to 4. Okay, Riochrome is more thinking about adding your memory as context without summarizing. I understand. But the context is this one as well, right? The input is part of the context. So if we put that in here, it should know what to do. Yeah. So let me think for a second. So the hero name, we don't have to give the hero name all of the time, at least in theory. That's how it worked before. But now maybe we have to do that. Yeah. The input is not static, because the entity ID might change the memory ID depending on which game you have selected. Yes. Let's change that a bit. Selected choice. Okay, maybe I like this better anyways. Put the input here, and then we just roll with it. And so the first time only the hero name is given. No, let's make that really compact. Yeah, like this. Here we go. This is the one thing. And then another version of it is string choice. And then we add choice. Oof. Again, it could work, or it could utterly fail. But in any case, we need our hero's name. Is this part of the game? Yes. So this is always selected. And we take this as well. I don't know why I call this 2 times. Why do I do that? Oh, key enter. What? Oh man. I'm pretty sure this is bad. And at some point I thought, well, just copy it for now. Yes. But actually we want this into some kind of function. Refactor, extract that method in generate new story from choice. Yes, replace this as well, because that's exactly what we wanted to do anyways. Now we clean that up a little bit and we are good to go again. And this is only called once. Wonderful, and we have this all set up. Now the choice is not included yet. It would be fun if we could have another one of these methods with, so overload this method. But I don't think that's how it works. So let's, haha. Okay, it has a memory ID. And according to that memory ID, it has the memory what happened before, which does, in our new part, it does not include the choices anymore because fun. Only the story agent has the memory ID. The choices agent does not. Is this a good strategy? I do not think so. Wow, that's a whole different problem that I did not think about. Crazy. That's crazy stuff, really. But great that we find that out. And see what happens. The hero name is hero name and the choice. Yeah, I don't know how to put that in there. One is save game, one is short time memory. This is the same now, I think. It does not have short time memory anymore. We can, what we did previously was not use this memory store, but yeah, that's a chat memory store. Where's that created? Now, where's it created? My good sir. Here we go. Okay, so that's what I implemented. But there is another chat memory store, the in-memory chat memory store. And that is basically short time memory. At least that's what I think you think, what I think you mean. The chat memory, so in memory. But what it actually does is also cut that with a maximum of 20 messages and put that into context. Right. But still, we need the choice here now. And I don't even know if we have to put that in the user message. Maybe we don't. But we need the choice for sure. And it probably breaks now. And again, I'm out of time, but this is really cool stuff to think about and to work through. Maybe we really have to do that context window. Maybe just for the memory, but probably also because we need two agents to work together to create these choices. Let's see how Hans fares today. Not a lot is going on, probably because of the missing argument. The missing argument in our call, of course, but that yeah. So we just take this and give an empty choice. Well, yes, I'm trying to do that. So it doesn't complain about it, but also doesn't find any choice. Like I said, I don't even know if it does anything with this input. Hans, let's go. Failed to invoke agent method public abstract. Start the story. Argument type mismatch. Very interesting. Huh. So it doesn't like the memory ID maybe? Or it with agentic scope? What is this? What are you? Allow to access the agentic scope of any agent extending it. Memory ID, hello? Huh. Can we maybe set invoke with agentic scope? And what's the input here? Is this different? Oh. Stored in the agentic scope can come to help. In particular, it keeps track of sequence of invocations of all agents and can produce a context concatenating those invocations in a single conversation. Reacrom is writing, but context of each agent would need to know both then. I think so. I think that's the real issue that we have here. Context agentic scope, yeah. And how is this called now? Registry and oh man, that's a whole another game. Evict. What? Set store. Ooh. Okay, that's a huge thing here. That's not in the scope for today. That's too much. All right, right now, let's try this so we get it to work somehow. And I'll revert the changes, but I want to commit something that somehow works. So let's try that again, see if it works as it did half an hour ago. And then we can take this up next time. Slow. Let's go. It's doing something. That's great. No errors so far. We have to be grateful for that. Cool. Ah, the moon. Why the moon? it's way I shouldn't laugh at that so much, but I find it so funny. And again, the cat face and then the moon, which looks like a coffin. But this works. So this is Great. This is an achievement, and we should treat it at that, as that. So we removed Google ADK again and replaced it with LangChain4J Agentic module. Cool. Cat monster on the moon. Yeah, probably that's what it is. It's just talking about a themed. Why it doesn't describe the themed in more detail, I don't know at all. Okay, I will merge that branch in main again, and then I'm sorry to say that nobody of you can use the Google ADK branch anymore. I'm sure you're all disappointed. AI still not able to draw circles. No, this was, of course, it was intentional by the AI. It should reassemble the moon as a coffin for this, probably for the cat monster. It should be a metaphor or something. I'm sure. Okay. Great. We did accomplish something. That's really a step in the right direction. There's much work ahead. Wait, what? No, I want to, no. Well, yes, this I need, this I don't want, these changes. Yeah. Let's switch it up. No, we did accomplish something. We implemented the LangChain4J Agentic module. It works somehow. We still have to implement persistence again. That's a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest, that we have to do that again. But if you think about it, it does make sense that it's much more complicated to have that memory across multiple agents. And of course, in this game, we don't need to have agents at all, but it should be just exercise to work with agents. And I think it's really cool that you can do that with Java in a really native environment without Python or anything like that. I'm really glad this works. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something from it. Riochrome, thank you very much for joining as usual. And I wish you all a pleasant day, evening, morning, whatever. Hopefully see you next time. Again,